Well, hello, Facebook friends and fellow runners. As you know, I have completed my 50 states marathon, and it was a great but tough journey. And I know some of you out there are attempting the same feat. Well, I want to display my t-shirts and my medal in such a way that it will be proud and pleasing. And hopefully it will give you an idea of what you can do with your memorabilia. So I finally was able to finish my project, and I hope once you see my project that it will give you some ideas and hopefully inspire you to continue on to push through some of the pain, some of the challenges, and I know you will. So if you would just enjoy what I put together, and again, hopefully it will inspire you to achieve the goals that you put in front of you. That is completing a marathon or a half marathon in every state in the United States, plus Washington, D.C. So hopefully you will enjoy it. Okay, this is my very first marathon. It was in Washington, D.C., the Marine Corps Marathon. Man, this marathon hurt so badly, I took off 2 years. I said, never again will I run another marathon. But you know, that didn't last too long. Next one is the Ohio Marathon. Me and my neighbor, Art Manigault, ran this marathon together. Also, we ran our next marathon, which is in Chicago. That was a kind of tough marathon. I guess the main thing about Chicago, it was pretty hot and humid. Okay, we moved. Then I ran the Little Rock Marathon. Can you get a look at that? Look at that medal there. Pretty big medal there. Anyway, this is a marathon. I missed qualified from Boston about 18 seconds, and you know that burned me up. So I had to keep trying to qualify for Boston. And so my very next marathon was in Portland, Oregon, and I did qualify for Boston in the Portland, Oregon Marathon. A great little run. Here is the Atlanta ING Marathon. Of course, Atlanta, you know, is hot. And one thing about this marathon here, they gave out of water. But being a front runner, I got all the water that I needed. And here's the big Boston Marathon. This Boston Marathon, it was very, very cold, very, very wet, and it was bad weather. And they was contemplating about canceling this marathon, well, not canceling, but postponing. It was a pretty rough marathon, but I made it, I survived, and I enjoyed it. Next marathon is called the Top of the Mountain Marathons in Utah. And we literally started at the top of the mountain and ran downhill all the way to the end. But unfortunately, the elevation kind of put a hurting on me. Okay, this is the marathon in Jacksonville, Florida. Another tough marathon. Wasn't very hilly, pretty flat. Very, very humid. Very humid. Here's the Lost Dutchman Marathon, and this is in Arizona, Apache Junction, Arizona, and this is the first marathon that I ran with the National Black Marathon Association, which is it is a co-founder group by Charlotte Simmons and Tony. What's Tony's last name? Anyway, you know Tony. The next marathon was the St. Louis Marathon. Nothing too particular about this one, except we had a good time riding the arch in downtown St. Louis. The next one is the Rock and Roll Marathon. This was in San Diego, California, and this race actually qualified for the New York Marathon here. Okay. The next marathon is the Crazy Jim Marathon in Tupelo, Mississippi. It was smoking hot there. It was so hot and humid. We started at 5 a.m. in the morning. It was pitch black. This one, the marathon, where you run way out there in the countryside, and if you catch cramps or fall out, you're on your own. The next one is the Spinks Marathon. This is in Greenville, South Carolina. Very nice community, very nice running area. The only thing I hate about this marathon, we had to run loops, and I hate to run loop marathons. The next marathon is the Rocket City Marathons in Huntsville, Alabama. Wasn't too bad. We had a nice time there. What I hear, this is in Nevada, and it's called Running from an Angel. Never again will I run from an angel. This was a killer marathon, hills everywhere, but I made it. Let's go down here, and this is the Drake Well Marathon. This marathon we ran in Pennsylvania, very, very hot, very, very humid. The Bigsmore Marathons in North Dakota Marathon. This is one of the marathons that my whole family participated. Wilma, she ran the 5K, and Desmond and Joshua, I believe, ran the 10K, and they all did quite well, matter of fact. Next one is in Portland, Maine, I believe, and really not much here. We had a good time. Another marathon, of course. This one is the New York City Marathon, huge marathon. I've never seen so many runners. It was so huge that when we ran across the bridge, I forget which one it was. It was a double-decker bridge, and both top and bottom was completely full, crowded from marathon runners. Go here to Thunder Road Marathon. This was in North Carolina. One mistake I made was when I went to the restroom, I forgot and left my gloves inside the restroom, and it was cold that morning. And so it was so cold that when I stopped at the water stop to get some water to calm my thirst, when the water dropped on my hand, I never felt it. I was so cold. When I came across the finish line, my wife said my face was so stiff, looked like I had some Botox. The next one is a Mardi Gras. Good old Mardi Gras. Had a good time, a lot of fun, a lot of just characters out there running. Just having a good old time. Next one is the Knoxville, Tennessee. One thing I can say about this marathon, it had hills galore, hills everywhere, tough course. This one is Olathe, Kansas. Also, I met two of my fellow 50-staters there, and we had a good time running and fellowshipping with one another. Missoula, Montana. Missoula, Montana. This one was a great run, but the main thing about this one is the sightseeing. If you ever have a chance to go to Missoula, Montana, you have to go to the Glacier National Park and travel the road to the sun. It is a beautiful place. This one is the Teton Dam run in Idaho. We had a great time there. Matter of fact, I won, I believe, first in my age group at this particular race. Had a good time. This next one here is Cowtown. Cowtown, Texas is the other race I ran with the National Black Marathon. A great race. And I think this was Tony 100 Marathon, I believe it was. Next one is Shamrock Marathon in Virginia Beach. Nothing too exciting about that one. Just had another run. This one is the Oklahoma City Marathon, and one thing about this marathon is very windy, and the start of the marathon, actually we started right in front of the old government building that Tim McVeigh had blew up, and is now a memorial. So it was one sad day. Next race is the Madison, Wisconsin race. Another nice race. Again, we just traveled the countryside and saw a bunch of farms and had a lot of chance to taste many different types of cheese. Okay, this is my Vermont race. This is the only time I ever missed going to the expo because I was late and I didn't pick up my package until the following day on race day. I have never missed a race, and I didn't want to miss one that day, so I was pretty shaken. And again, I made the race and I ran well. This is another race I ran in Georgia, which was Callaway Garden. It was not part of my fifth estate, but again, I didn't have one marathon to run in that December, so I decided to stay in shape to continue on my marathon journey. Up here, you will see some shoes. If you look real closely up there, these shoes say Boston from Portland. These are the shoes that propelled me to the Boston Marathon. So, of course, I had to keep them. This one is Grandma in the Loop, Minnesota. We ran along the lake. It's a huge lake, and we just kind of boring, but you know, another marathon. This is the Grand Island Marathon, which is in Michigan. And this marathon was a little bit scary because, as you know, this is on an island and it's a natural habitat. And there are bears and wild animals on the island. And when we got bused to the island by ferry, and the signs read, "Please beware of bears." I made it though. Here is the Skagit Marathon. This is in Washington State. I won first place Masters and first place in my age division. Not bad for one day. And that following Saturday, we just hopped on a plane and moved right on over to Alaska, where I ran this marathon. And also I won first place here in my age group. This was a tough marathon, but again, I made it. Next one is Manchester, New Hampshire. Not a lot of excitement here, just another marathon I had to knock out. Here's one, the Northern Central Trail was in Baltimore, and we ran on the old abandoned train track. Very nice as you run. There's a lot of waterfalls up in the woods that we ran in, but it was great. Had a great time. Here's one is right here in Indiana. Read this closely here. Very good. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must outrun the fastest lion, or it will be killed. Every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the slowest gazelle, or it will starve. So, it doesn't matter whether you are a lion or a gazelle. When the sun comes up, you better be running. This was a great race. It was in Indiana, like I said, and we ran it in the snow. First time I ever ran a marathon in the snow, but we had a great time. Rehoboth Beach, this is in Delaware. Not a lot of much here, but again, another marathon I had to tackle. Down here is the Marathon. This is in Iowa. We ran from a city called Marathon, strangely enough. And I met another running partner here, and we ran together for a little ways. This is Deadwood, which is in South Dakota. Another marathon we ran with the National Black Marathon Runners, and we had opportunities to visit the heads of the president. I forget what you call that thing, but anyway, we had a good time. Oh yeah, Mount Rushmore. Here is Wyoming Marathon, and this was another killer. Matter of fact, we started up at 8,000 feet, ran down to sea level and back up. I was puking before I got to the halfway point. And I was puking even more coming back. This was the only marathon that I ever walked across the finish line and I was so happy to finish. Another killer. This is the Cold-Fight Marathon. I believe this is in Denver, Colorado. And this one we ran around we ran through the Denver Bronco Mile High Stadium. Okay. This is the Cox Providence Marathon. We ran in Rhode Island. And I believe, I kid you not, I think we ran around the whole island. It's so small. This is the Death March in New Mexico. This is the Baton Death March where we ran through the desert and white sand. It's called White Castle or White Sand Military Base. Very, very, very tough marathon. This is the New Jersey Marathon we ran, and not a lot of it going here, but we ran with the ultra runners as well. This one is the Grand River Marathon, which is in Kentucky. Not too much excitement, but again, another marathon. Here is my Hawaii Marathon. The Hawaii Marathon, of course, is the same course that they run the Ironman on. Great running. Okay, over here is the Omaha Marathon, Nebraska. Just a nice time. Nothing too overly spectacular. Down here is the Freedom Run. Freedom Run was a tough run. We ran through the Antietam battleground up in West Virginia, one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War. Very lot of history there. Okay, a lot of history. And my last marathon was over here in Hartford, Connecticut. Now this marathon was great because the organizer, the director, they surprised all the 50 state marathon that was the last race of the 50th state. They gave us a plaque. That was very nice of those guys. Matter of fact, this marathon is the caption on the front cover of the book that I wrote about my 50 state journey. So this is what I put together. Took a little time, but I'm very proud of it. And I hope you will too. I'm back. And I hope you enjoyed what you saw of my displaying of my 50 state medals and t-shirts. And hopefully it will inspire you to perhaps do something just as that. You know, I thought about doing a quilt, but I just decided not to do it that way. Also, I captured all those memories in a wonderful book called I Run Because He Said I Couldn't. And who's that he? My orthopedics told me that I couldn't run because I have a complete tear of my ACL. But I had to prove him wrong. And so I challenged myself to set out and run a marathon in every state. And I did that with the help of my family as a support model. And we had a great journey. And all those memories are captured in this wonderful book called I Run Because He Said I Couldn't. Now, my next challenge would be to run a marathon on the other 6 continents. And I'm going to start that pretty soon. You guys have a great day.